What's going on, guys? It is November 30th, 11:36 at night. As a new dad, I'm realizing that anytime I want to do something I'm remotely interested in, and my wife is working at the hospital, I have to do it late at night or early in the morning. So I don't get a whole lot done when my 4.5-month-old son is awake. So I'm learning this sleep. I guess I could sleep when I'm dead, right? So anyway, I want to talk about knife sharpening, and I'm not going into like really deep, sophisticated detail or anything like that. Okay, I just want to show you something that I picked up at GP Knives in Troy, Illinois. Went by there today, Black Friday sale. Sharpening has, I've always been around knife sharpening. My dad used to sharpen our kitchen knives and hunting knives on a whetstone, and that's just the way he did it. He had 3 different grits, and you turn the stone, and every once in a while you would clean it, but he actually used a really light oil instead of water, and he might have put a little bit of water on there. So I have the same thing, and I do have some honing oil and stuff like that, and that's what I grew up with. And then when we were deer hunting, our friend Jim Mattingly showed us that he had a system similar to this, but it was actually called like a Lansky turn box, and the end of it turned and ceramic rods come out. So as long as you have a general edge on your knife and it just needs to be touched up, that's the perfect system, and it makes it a razor blade. It's an amazing system, and that really opened our eyes to a different way of sharpening knives. So you can kind of get a general edge with the stone, and then you really touch it up with the ceramic rods. So there was a medium and a fine, real similar to the Spyderco SharpMaker here. So I was hooked on those ceramic rods, and a lot of times I just clean them with an eraser. So that's something I always have around. People are like, why do you have an eraser? Nobody even uses pencils anymore. But that's how I clean the ceramic rods a lot of times. You can also clean them with like Comet or something like that with water to really do a deep clean. I'll run this down the rods, and then when I sharpen it, you can feel it catch even more just because I ran the eraser along there. Another thing I always carry around when I'm sharpening knives is permanent marker. With this system here that I'm getting ready to talk about, it's really, really simple to use, but you would just take the permanent marker and you run it along the edge of your knife. And on this system, I use the highest grit I have, which right now is 1,000, and you just lightly run it along the edge, and if it takes the marker off, you're spot on. So with the Spyderco, there's only 2 options. It's 40 degrees or 30 degrees. So you can run your knife down the ceramic rod, and you're going to know whether your edge is 30 or 40 degrees. So you have limited options there, but it's the same principle. So permanent marker, and it comes off with rubbing alcohol, so it's not as permanent as it sounds. You can always take it off. Not a big deal. So I bought the Spyderco SharpMaker, and I've told probably 10 people about it, and they all bought one, and they all love it. Okay, and it will do generally everything you need. I've sharpened my hunting knives, my wife's kitchen knives, I've sharpened scissors, all kinds of stuff, and it's great. I recommend it. It's awesome. It's probably $65, and then I recommend getting the diamond rods, and then getting the extra fine, which is what I have here, marked with the red top. Okay, and so all in all, with the extra rods, it might be $100, but then you're fully covered. So you have diamond, medium, fine, extra fine, and the SharpMaker can pretty much do it all. Now, if you need to get into reprofiling, you're going to have some trouble with the Spyderco depending on the amount of damage that's done on the knife. My mother-in-law gave me these knives to sharpen, and she knows I have a lot of knives. I like sharpening knives. So she brought these over, and they weren't like butter knives, but they were extremely close to butter knives. They had multiple chips right here on both of the knives, because that's usually where you're contacting a lot of times first. So there was chips in the blade on both of them, and I spent about an hour and a half on the Spyderco. So I did the diamond, medium fine, extra fine. And I got kind of an edge on it, and I just put them by the front door and was like, there's nothing else I can do. I'm not going to sit here for 5 hours grinding on the Spyderco, you know, to try to get an edge. And I kind of felt bad because I asked her if I could sharpen knives for her for free, you know. I just want to do it as a favor. She does a lot for us. But I went to GP Knives today, and they had a Wicked Edge, I think it's Pro Pack 1, was on sale. It was a Black Friday sale, so it was $50 off. So this system right here, there's lots of different levels. They make small carry travel stuff for like $200. My buddy Joe has one. I think that's over $1,200. It's a commercial grade with a box, and I think it comes with all the stones you could possibly think of, and leather straps and all kinds of stuff. And I think it's over $1,200. So it's all relative, right? It's still very, very expensive, I understand. I have lots of knives. I have a YouTube channel that's, you know, generally directed towards the outdoors, but it seems that most of my videos are about knives, and that's what people want to hear about. They're interested in that. So I picked up the Wicked Edge Pro for $450. It's not cheap. I'm, you know, planning on having this the rest of my life. I can sharpen all kinds of stuff now. I can reprofile blades. I can do all kinds of stuff. So check that out if that's something you're interested in. It's pretty cool. So if you're thinking about buying a Chris Reeve knife, it's $450 for a Encosi, you know, Umenzan, which is what I have, or a Sabenza. You're at least looking at $450. That's how much this sharpener is. So I can sharpen all my knives now because I didn't buy a high-end knife. I don't know. You could justify it in a million different ways, right? This is something I wanted. Knives are a huge part of my life, and I'm not able to fully, I don't have full capability in sharpening them, so now I do. So I came home today, watched a couple YouTube videos, put this together, read the directions. This model comes with a heavy base, so it's not going to be sliding around and stuff like that, which is really, really nice. I put the lowest grit I have. So all the grits you get are 100, 200, 400, 600, 800, 1000, and then there's leather strops, and the leather strops have a little bit of paste in these syringe-like things, and you could buy more, of course, right? So there is a 5 micron and a 3.5 micron. So pretty cool. So what I did was I put it on 100 and I worked it all the way up, and I didn't use the leather. I just went up to 1000 grit, and these things are pretty sharp now. You know, I was able to grind the chips out of it, which is the best part, because that's what was really, really bothering me. And I was having trouble doing it. It just wasn't taking enough off with the SharpMaker. And just the method of doing it too is so sophisticated because it's consistent. So the SharpMaker, you still have human error, right? You're supposed to hold the knife vertical, and then the angle of the rod is what actually works. But in this, I'll show you, this is the leather strap. So this is set at 20 degrees on each side. And I'm kind of polishing that edge, okay? Probably shaking the camera. But anyway, so this was like a butter knife. Came home, took the edge all the way down and built it all the way back up. And it's sharp, right? This is for your kitchen. So, but I think it will do the job. So, way better than it was. So, I'm actually worried my mother-in-law might cut herself. So, I'm going to put those in cardboard before I give them to her. And eventually, I think my wife and I might just get her new knives, because these are pretty old. And I don't know, I'm going to get her something with some higher quality metal and stuff like that. But that's going to work great for her kitchen. So, again, this is just kind of a quick intro of, you know, where I'm at in the sharpening game. You know, I've been around sharpening knives my whole life, and now I'm at this point, and this is the most sophisticated system I've ever seen. It's the best system I've ever seen, and I'm really excited about working with different kinds of knives. You know, tonight this is the first night I've ever had it. My brother-in-law texted me, and I have some of his knives on loan that I'm doing some reviews on. I just did one on the bailout, the Benchmade bailout, which is a Tanto, and he said, see what you can do with that. No problem. You know, I did it. I just treated it as two different knives. So you have the main angle and then the Tanto angle, and it's awesome. So it's sharper than it was. There was a few little tiny chips in there. Those are gone. And with relative ease, really. So I picked this up at GP Knives in Troy, Illinois. Check them out, guys. They're really, really awesome. They actually gave me some extra stuff when I bought this. They gave me 2 different notepads and a pen, right? So really, really good, guys. If you live near, I would say within an hour, hour and a half of Troy, Illinois, or if you're driving through, check it out. It's brick and mortar. Their inventory is incredible. Check their hours. You know, they're not 24 hours or anything crazy. They're a normal store with normal people and good hours for their employees. But they have an awesome inventory, and I really, really think it's worth your time to stop by, because you can hold these knives in your hand, you know, and you can really see if you want that or not. You know, if you order a knife online, which is mostly, I think, most of their business at this point is probably online. That's the way of the world in 2019. But to hold a knife in your hand is a lot different than ordering one online, and then you get it and you're like, it's not really what I thought. So I highly recommend stopping by GP Knives. And today I met guys that were from Centralia, Illinois. I met a couple people that were 2 hours away, and they just went in there to look at knives that they've been looking at online only, because nobody has them in a store. And they picked them up and brought them out. And I picked this up, and this is something I'm going to have for a long time. I am going to get the 80 grit, and it's the 50 and 80 grit for reprofiling. It's just going to lower the amount of time that I have to put into reprofiling knives. And then I'm going to get the 1200 and 1600 ceramic, just to really, really finish up that blade and make it a razor edge, because that's important to me, especially if I'm going to do this for customers or something like that, or friends or family, same thing. I want it to be done right. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hit subscribe if you want to see more videos on the knives. I am going to be doing a review on the Wicked Edge at some point. I want to get more comfortable with it. I want to learn more about it. I want to add in some tips and tricks and things like that that work for me. Maybe some of the mistakes I made. I want to do that as well. So share this video with your friends and family if they're into knives or into the outdoors. You know, hopefully I'll do more fishing and hunting stuff as well. I really, really appreciate you guys watching, and have a good rest of the weekend.